This is the Daily Bread Guide message of Pastor David. Today we study Exodus 32 and the title is Aaron's Idol Worship and Moses' Intercessory Prayer. This is the scene after Moses went to Mountain Horeb for 40 days to face God. And he went down from the mountain and he found his people, Israelites, worship the calf, the golden calf. And Moses was enraged and he made his intercessory prayer for the Israelites. So we'll focus on the attitude of Moses and Aaron and also the Levites. Today's chapter can be divided roughly into 5. First, verse 1 to verse 10, the Israelites who worship the idol and God's wrath. Verse 11 to 13, Moses' intercessory prayer. Third, verse 15 to 25, Moses' wrath after coming down from the mountain. Verse 26 to 29, the devotion of the Levites, those who stand on God's side. Lastly, verse 30 to 35, Moses' intercessor prayer, blot me out of the book you have written. First, we see the first part. The Israelites were impatient because Moses didn't come back from the mountain for 40 days. So they brought the jewels to Aaron. And Aaron made a golden calf with the jewels that the Israelites brought to him. This is verse 2, says, Aaron answered them, take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing and bring them to me. So all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. And he took, verse 4, what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. And they said, these are your gods. Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt? So what was the problem of the Israelites? They looked at what's visible to them rather than the covenant of God. So they have more focus on the job and education, money, and even the feelings of stability. That's what they had sought for. They chose the golden calf which they can see with their eyes rather than invisible, but the covenant of God, which is for sure. So that's their choice. They chose the what's visible, and they tried to enlarge and expand them. And another problem is that they forgot what God had done for them. And like the Exodus, that God brought them out of Egypt, and God divided the Red Sea and made them cross the sea. And also he brought the manna and also the quail for their food. And also he gave the victory as they fought against the Amalekite. And we go to the second part, that Moses loves the Israelites. God intended to kill the Israelites who worshiped the idol, but Moses made his intercessory prayer for them. So his prayer had the truth and also the power enough to turn back the heart of God. So he made such powerful and truthful prayer to turn the heart of God from killing the Israelites. So we need such truthful and powerful prayer. And the third part is that Moses rebuked Aaron we go to verse 22. Do not be angry, my lord, Aaron answered. You know how prone these people are to evil. This is the excuse that the Aaron made to the rebuke of Moses. And verse 24, so I told them, whoever has any gold jewelry, take it off. Then they gave me the gold, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf. And this was not my intention to make such golden calf for idol. So Aaron just made the excuse. So Aaron was the leader who tried to please the people rather than following the word of God. And because of such leadership of Aaron, verse 25 says, Moses saw that the people were running wild and that Aaron had let them get out of control and so become a laughing stock to their enemies. So such leadership has misled his people. The spiritual leadership should nurture and train and give the mentoring to his saints, to his people. That is the point where the ministers and the missionaries should put their utmost effort to establish such spiritual atmosphere. So Aaron just tried to erase such a complaint from the Israelites, and he made the choice which is just to please them, please the Israel people. So the problem of the Israelites is actually coming out of the problem of the Aaron's leadership. So if you are the minister and if you are the leader, you shouldn't stop following the leadership of the Aaron, but to follow the way of Moses. Let's move on to part 4. Moses then asked, who will stand for the Lord? And he called the Levite, the sons of the Levites. This is on verse 26 to 29. So he stood at the entrance to the camp and said, whoever is for the Lord, come to me. And all the Levites rallied to him. Verse 27, then he said to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel says. Each man strap a sword to his side, go back and forth through the camp from one end to the other, each killing his brother and friend and neighbor. The Levites did as Moses commanded, and that day about 3,000 of the people died. Verse 29, then Moses said, you have been set apart to the Lord today, for you are against your own sons and brothers, and he has blessed you this day. So when problems arise, we need to choose a lifestyle that stands for the Lord, for God. So this choice may bring you some complaints and blame from people, but we need to choose to stand for the Lord. This is our lifestyle as the saint of the Christ. Lastly, part 5, Moses confessed the sins of his people. Verse 30, the next day Moses said to the people, you have committed a great sin, but now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin. So he had this father of the heart of the father. So please forgive the sins of my sons and daughters. That was the heart of Moses, the heart of the father. He was the true spiritual leader. So God heard the intercessory prayer of Moses, and he forgave the sins of the people. However, as verse 34 to 35 says, they had the Lord struck the people with a plague because of what they did with the calf Aaron had made. So the Israelites had to pay for what they have sinned against the Lord. There is forgiveness, but however, they need to pay for their sins. To summarize, we have learned about the attitude of Moses, Aaron, and the Levites before Jehovah. And what we have to choose is to stand for the Lord. And we have to remove all the idol worship, all the golden calf in our life. And we need to proceed following the covenant, the promise of God. And we shouldn't be impatient because God has already given us the covenant and his victory. This is the end of the guide message.